times, this my last time. Forgetting what I did in the past time.
Alright, bro. Get nice and comfortable for y'all. I need the microphone. I just want to go ahead and start off and welcome y'all to my podcast, Reek's Poor Judgment. This is really just a conversation room. We just gonna have conversations. We gonna talk about shit. We gonna talk about it, and we gonna sip a little something. I'm on that due diligence. That's what I drink. That's my drink of choice. I like due diligence. So we gonna sip. We gonna talk, and we gonna see where we end up. We going down every rabbit hole that we find. But hold on. Come on now. Trim. All right. First. We drink our liquor straight around here. No ice. That's about good. Cheers. All right. So like I said, tonight we talking about accountability. Accountability goes so broad, but I'm going to focus more on it being accountable to your self standards. You know, oftentimes as growing individuals, because, you know, until the day you die, you're growing mentally, spiritually, sometimes physically if you have, you know, some stuff wrong with you. But if you don't hold yourself accountable, 9 times out of 10, I feel it's just going to snowball effect into bigger and bigger issues. Because until you can take a look in that mirror and acknowledge the issues that you have, you'll never be able to change those bad behaviors or those discretions. You'll never be able to work past that internally. So I guess let's just start it off like this. You know, as growing individuals, even on social media right now, you know, there's this big stigma of standing on business. And we feel like, when I say we, I mean my generation, I'm 25. My generation, you know, we stand on business. That's our thing right now, you know. We're holding ourselves accountable. We're holding other people accountable. We're holding our significant others accountable, our friends, partners, whatever. You hold it accountable. You hold them accountable, excuse me. So I feel that accountability is an easy thing to notice in somebody else, but it's not so easy to notice it in yourself. I'm going to say that again. I don't think y'all heard me. Take another sip if you're listening. Accountability is easy to point the finger at somebody else, but it's hard sometimes to take a look in the mirror and acknowledge what you might be doing wrong, or what you might need to work on, or where you might have fucked up. So, you know, we're going to go down this rabbit hole, and with every topic that I'm going to bring to this podcast, I'm going to start somewhere. And wherever that conversation takes me, that's where I'm going to end up. I'm not stopping it. I'm not going to try to stay on topic. We're just going to dive. We're going to dive and we're going to see where we end up. First things first. Shout out to my braider and my barber. Freak by Finn on Instagram and Snipe Genius the barber on Instagram. Y'all go follow them. Shout out to them. They keep me right. But, we're going to talk about accountability, and we're going to talk about ignoring red flags. So I feel like holding yourself accountable is hard because, you know, as we go on in life, we develop bad habits. We develop things that we might not notice on ourselves in the regular. but other people notice it. It's very much in our outward appearance. So it's like, it's real easy for us to be like, oh man, so and so is doing this, or so and so is doing that. But it's not so easy for us to be like, oh man, well, maybe I should take a look in the mirror and realize that, I got some shit I need to work on. Because I'll be the first to tell y'all, I got some shit I need to work on. And I'm working on me because sometimes I'm the problem. And that's facts. Sometimes I'm the problem. We get so tied up into ourselves that we really and truly think that the world revolves around us, when really it doesn't. And I mean this in the nicest way. But name somebody that if they died today, you would not have to go to work tomorrow. If you still got to go to work tomorrow, 9 times out of 10, it's not that serious. But everybody has a death date. Everybody has an expiration. That's the name of the game. So, I'm working on holding myself accountable. I feel like I'm okay about it, but it's easy for me to say I'm okay about it because I'm me. Of course I want to make myself look better. Of course I want to make myself look good. But we hold people accountable in relationships. Like, I'm going to use this as an example, and I'm not going to use any names, but I'm going to use a story. So there's this couple that I know, and they've been together for a few years. We could just say 3-4 years just for the sake of the story. And the guy is older than the girl. And the guy has developed some bad habits. We could just say drinking and smoking. He's developed some bad habits, some drinking and smoking habits, And the girl, though she is younger, she has developed more of a spiritual side. She's on a spiritual journey right about now. And like I said, they've been together about 3-4 years now. The spiritual journey with her, it's new. When I say new, I mean like probably not a year old, maybe right around a year old. But, she's starting to see the issues in the way that he has developed these habits. She's starting to see the issues in that. And naturally, as one, I want my woman to do. 2, as women are going to do. She feels like, she has to try to break that bad habit. She feels like she has to, slow him down on the drinking or deter him away from the drinking and smoking and this, that, and the third, and try to get him more onto a spiritual journey, which I 100% agree with. From a shallow standpoint, that's just facts. It's facts that she wants to better him, or she wants to try to stop him from going down a road that he could in turn go down. But this is how I feel. And everything on this show is going to be strictly my opinion. If you don't like my opinion, keep it pushing. It's not for you. If you like my opinion, I thank you for tuning into the video this long. But her and I had a discussion about it. And though I agree with how she feels about it, what makes her opinion about the way that man should lead his life superior to hers, what makes her opinion better than his? Because she feels like he doesn't need to drink or smoke, that he shouldn't be doing it. I don't feel like in relationships, there's a thin line between accountability and controlling somebody. We get into relationships and we fall in love with people for the way that they are. And then those same things that we fell in love with them for, many times we grow to resent that shit. I done seen it with my partners. I done seen it in my own life. I done seen it in my parents, so on and so forth. The things that we love about those people, we grow to resent. So she feels that because she is on a spiritual journey and he doesn't understand the spiritual journey yet, that's on God to reveal that to him. That's not on her. Granted, I'm 100% supportive of God using people as vessels. Kids don't vape at home.
I'm 100% supportive in God using people as vessels. But I'm big on signs. And for me, what a sign is, for example, it could just be me reading something. But if I read something and I think twice into it, to me, that's a sign. That's a sign. Like, God meant for me to interpret that the way that I interpreted it. It wasn't for no reason. I don't believe in coincidences. So, she's on her spiritual journey, and he's not there yet. He's like on the other side of a spiritual journey. And you can't fault him for that. Because for the first 3 years of you guys' relationship, that's how it was for both of you. But all of a sudden, you've developed a spiritual journey. You've been enlightened. You've learned so much shit about that side of the fence that's where you want to cross to. That's where you want to indulge. That's where you want to dive deep in. And I get it. I've been there. I swear I've been there. But you can't force your beliefs on anybody else. So I asked her, I was like, what makes your opinion about him or the way that he leads his life, what makes that superior to what he thinks about how he leads his life? You don't know what he's actually running from. You don't know what he's trying to cope with. You don't know what goes on in his head after y'all go to bed. I could live my life by doing what people would say is the right thing to do. But I don't always feel like what the right thing to do is the right thing for you. Because you'll live for people, and as you're living for people, that's so ingenuine to live for people. Because at the end of the day, when you're in bed and you're alone in your thoughts, you're alone in your thoughts by yourself. Ain't nobody fighting your thoughts with you. Ain't nobody helping you through that. Granted, therapy is great, but therapy can only give you the tools to deal with that. Therapy can't stop that. Therapy can't help that. Can't nobody help that. That's something that you have to face head on. So I feel like in relationships, granted, there's going to be times where people do need to be changed and God will use people as vessels. I think in our generation or in my generation, I just feel like we need to take a step back from trying to tell people where they're wrong. Maybe not tell them where they're wrong or tell them where they might be fucking up, for lack of a better term. We need to stop trying to feel like, oh, because I know something now, you need to know it now too. Because there was a day where that wasn't revealed to you. And now all of a sudden that has been revealed to you, you think it needs to be revealed to everybody. That's not how life works. Everybody's life is different. I think before you try to change a person drastically in a relationship, if you feel that strongly about it and that person doesn't agree at that time, leave them. Get the fuck away. Rather than trying to run yourself dry and deal with trying to change a person who don't want to change, leave. Walk away. Because one thing I firmly believe, what God got for me, God got for me. Can't nobody get in the way of that. As much as they want to, as much as they would like to, all of these things, they can't. I stand on that. Stamped and certified. Nah, I'm not saying for y'all to let y'all boyfriends and girlfriends, just dive into fucking crack life or, dog food, whatever. I'm not saying that. But I'm saying, try to help somebody be better. Try to push somebody to be better. And if that doesn't work for you, or you realizing it's taking more time than you anticipated, sometimes we just have to walk away. Sometimes it'll be best. Sometimes you walking away will reveal that to that person. Sometimes that's the wake-up call that they needed, was you to walk away. And then they think back, oh, now let me sit back and look in the mirror. Oh, nah, I really do have a problem. Damn, like, I done went this far without noticing, and now, wow, like, I'm 6 months down the line and I done drink every day. Or I'm 6 months down the line and I smoke every day, or I do this every day, or I buy a pack of cigarettes every day, or, whatever is your habit, that's your habit. As long as your business is taken care of, I really don't care. It's not my business. Because as long as my business is taken care of, that's all I care about. My kids are good. we're good. So I just feel like, people's journey doesn't always include you. And our generation has skewed the idea of casual dating. Like, you'll see our generation now, it's a lot of shacking up. It's a lot of people living married before they're actually married, Truly, it's not for everybody. But we got to get back to that. We got to get back to understanding, like, you take the time to try people, and just because you like that person, that doesn't mean that because you like them, it's going to work. That person got some issues they got to work on. You got some issues you got to work on. I got some issues I got to work on. But it comes with time. And like I said, I don't believe in coincidences. Things are not going to happen the way I want them to. Things are not going to happen the way that I intend them to. Things are not going to happen the way I thought they would. Things are going to happen exactly the way that they're supposed to. And if you can't trust that, if you can't understand that enough, you're going to have a hard time. Because there's going to be a lot of shit that's just eating you up. And you're wondering, like, damn. Like, why didn't it go like this? One of my partners, we talking one day, and I'm like, bro. I'm like, man, like, I plan shit in my head. Like, I think of everything. And I be mad. Like, I be genuinely pissed off when shit don't go to plan. And I be wondering, like, why is it not going to plan? And he told me something, and I ain't lying. Since he told me that, it stuck with me. He said, the reason you're getting so bent out of shape about it is because you're not accounting for a fuck up. You're accounting for everything to go to plan. That's why you're planning. Because you think everything gonna go to plan. So you have it planned out to the T. And then when it don't go to plan because there was a fuck up, your whole plan goes to shit. And it's facts. Your whole plan does go to shit. Because then you get into your emotions. And once you get into your emotions, you're not thinking rationally. You're not going back to the plan or trying to see what you could do to get back on schedule. You pissed. Fuck it. For me, fuck it. That's how I was. Until I started accounting for a fuck up. I'm gonna have to put that in letters or something. Account for a fuck up. If you account for a fuck up, when the fuck up comes, which it probably will. I'm not gonna say 10 times out of 10, but a good 8 times out of 10, that fuck up gonna come, bro. It's gonna come. And when the fuck up comes, you just adjust. You adjust and you come back to the plan. I wanna go into this back to this accountability. You hold yourself. Most people, even me, I'm guilty of this myself. Most people hold themselves accountable when it makes sense. They don't hold themselves accountable all the time. They don't sit up there and, think about what they could do to be better or what they're doing wrong. You know how hard it is for the average person to look in the mirror and acknowledge what they're doing wrong? You know how tough that can be? I'm gonna leave that there for what it is. Kevin Gates for president. BWA retarded. Our cup empty, y'all. It's time to pour another glass. And while asking about my Powerade, we stay hydrated. Because we don't need no hangovers. None. I got work tomorrow. Alright, y'all, we back. Next thing I want to touch on is real big in my generation. Red flags and ignoring red flags. It's real easy. This is my standpoint on it. Fuck it. My generation, the way that things normally go, You either meet somebody somewhere, you slide in somebody DM on Instagram, you meet through a mutual friend, Tinder, all of these things. You meet somebody, you take a liking to that person. That's cool. That's fine, bro. You take a liking to that person. And then, as you take a liking to that person, you know, there's a stigma about being a ride or die or staying down with somebody. But part of staying down with somebody is embracing their red flags. And I'm not saying it's wrong to embrace a person's red flags and allow a person the space to grow. Because that's fine. Give that person the space to grow. But you can't be mad if that person doesn't grow. You can't. Because all those red flags that you saw in the beginning, you ignored them. For the sake of this relationship, or for the sake of how much you liked them, lusted over them, or maybe was infatuated with them, bro. But it's easy for us to ignore the red flags. Like that guy you started dating, he might not have a car, you know. He might not have a job. In my eyes, that's a red flag. I'm 25 though. It hits different. Do your research. But if you ignore a red flag and you wondering why 6 months later down the line, you do it in your car while you at work and you ain't even really getting a text back or something like that, that's a red flag. But you just fit right into where he needed you to fit in. But because you like him, because you like what he showed you, you're going to ignore it. You're going to deal with it. You're going to let that man come in at 3 o'clock in the morning. You're going to let that man stay all late with his homeboys. You're going to let that man go to the club and do what he do. You might let that man cheat on you. Because as his men, it's easy to be a man and to fall into the stigma of being a macho man. To feel like, oh, I'm only as many, excuse my French, I'm only as many hoes as I sleep with. That's a big thing. I see it in guy talk. I see it out in the world. I see it at my job. Just about anywhere I go, you can see a man being a man. It's human nature. It's human nature for a man to be a man. But as you're dealing with somebody, if you ignore their red flags, that's only going to come to bite you in the ass later on. Because like I said, the things you loved about that person initially, you grow to resent. And even if you didn't love it, if it was something that you didn't like, but you continued on in a relationship, or you continued on in conversating with that person, and it grew into a relationship, bro, that's ignoring it. You slid that shit under a rug. You slid that shit under a rug for what? For what? You can't tell me if you pulled somebody once, you feel like you could go the rest of your life and never get a significant other, never get conversation from a person of the other sex or the same sex. I know we in 2024 now. You can't tell me that you don't feel like that's what's going to happen. Man, people grow. People grow apart. People grow into better people, but people also grow into worse people. It's possible. Like you might meet somebody and they in the middle. They like here, you know, they not up here, but they also not down here. But they not gonna stay here 9 times out of 10. It's rare for somebody to just sit at that midline and just stay at that midline, bro. They might dip down to their lowest point. And I'm not telling you to leave nobody at their lowest point. I don't feel like you should leave somebody at their lowest point. And I'm not telling you to leave nobody at their highest point when they feel like they ain't got time for you and they not dealing with you and all of this and that. But I'm saying, if you see something right off of the bat and it raises a red flag to you, 9 times out of 10, in my opinion, that wouldn't reveal to you for nothing. And once you ignore that and keep going, anything in that realm right there, that come back to bite you in the ass, that's not their fault. That's your fault. Because you knew what time it was. You knew how they was coming. You knew it was a possibility that would become an issue at one point. But what? I like them. So it's not going to happen like that. They like me. It's not going to happen like that. And then what the fuck happens? It happens exactly like that. This reek poor judgment. As I drink, my conversation will get a little different. But you can't ignore somebody's red flags and then be mad at when that red flag come back to bite you in the ass. Or you can't ignore somebody's red flag and the red flag kind of slides under the table for a couple months and then it come back up. Because you knew that was a problem. But you, one, you either never addressed it. Two, if you did address it and they didn't change it, you kept going. Three, you said fuck it and just went along for the ride. We all done been there. We all know how that goes. But what? What are we gonna do? We just gonna ignore, and I ignored it and that shit gone. That's a thing of the past. It's not. It's not. That's a thing of the future. That's a thing that's gonna come back up. Cause like that person that you met that was right here, when they get here, that's it. I don't even want to say it's a different person, bro. But different shit is gonna be revealed down there as was here. When a person get down to their lowest to where they feel like they ain't got no more space to go, they gonna show you some true colors, good or bad. Some people, they get down to their lowest, they run it up through the ceiling. Some people, they get down to their lowest and they stay there. They get stuck there because they can't be accountable and take a look in the mirror and acknowledge what they might be doing wrong. Because, everybody got this stigma. Shit, I'm the best. I'm him. I'm her. I'm that for real. But who's really that for real? Who's really that for real? Bruh. In my generation, you can't tell me where you want to be right now. If you are exactly where you want to be, one, more power to you. Two, you had something handed to you. Fuck it. Trials and tribulations come with this shit. Falls come with this shit. You think money can solve all your problems until you have money and you still got problems. Or you got more problems. Or you think, the issues in your relationship, that's the end of the world. Until you got money problems now. Or your mama die, or your daddy die, or your grandparents. It'll always be something to keep you humble. It'll always be something to bring you right back to bay. And just take a step back and just sit back and look at the whole picture like, damn, I'm fucked up with it. I done slipped 6 months. I've been drinking every day. I've been smoking every day. I've been out all night, spending all kind of money. My affairs not even really tended to like that. I'm still fucked up. I really don't know how to get from this point, Bro, it's hard for people to look in the mirror and acknowledge what they might be doing wrong. It's hard for people to look in the mirror and be honest with themselves. Me? One thing I'm honest about myself with, that it took me a while to get here. Bro, I'm 5'5". I'm going to stand up for y'all. I am 5'5". For the average guy, That's short. Bro, I'm short. Short as hell. But what does that take from me? Does that change who I am? No. Because I've always been short. I've always been, the shorter bunch. Elementary, middle, high school, college. My job. At my job right now, I'm probably the shortest person in that motherfucker. Both of them. That don't change who I am. And if I let that shit get to me, that shit just gonna get to me. Because for me to keep it a buck, being short ain't never stopped me from nothing. On any part of the playing field. I've dated women taller than me. I've gotten jobs over people taller than me. I've ran faster than people taller than me with all that long leg stigma bullshit. Bruh, that shit only gonna hold you down if you let it. I don't let shit hold me down. Bro, I can sit here. People remind me that I'm short. As if I could put my fucking mind to some shit and just fucking grow. I can't. And I'm okay with that. This is how God intended me to be. But I'll tell you one thing. What I might lack in height, I promise you, I'm making up for in other aspects. I'm genuine. I have a good heart to my core. I care about other people. I care about other people being good before I'm good. There have been many times that I made sure that other people were good before I made sure I'm good. And what did that red flag do? Say it with me now, class. It came back to bite me in my ass. So, bro, it's the Kobe year. It's 2024. If you ask me, Kobe was a shoot first, pass second kind of player. So that's what I'm working on this year. Shooting first and passing second. The chips are gonna fall where they may. Things are gonna fall where they may. And I'm okay with that. I'm perfectly fine with that. But I want y'all to remember two things from this video. It's always going to be easier for you to point out flaws in another person rather than look in the mirror and acknowledge the flaws that you have within yourself that you need to work on. That's first things first. Second things second. If you ignore a red flag, there's going to be a day where that red flag is going to come back and bite you in the ass. You made it this far in the video. We locked in. I got my next video coming within a week. I appreciate y'all. I appreciate the support. I appreciate the encouragement. I'm locked in. We locked in 2024. These podcasts could do 0 views a day, and I'm going to keep making them. Because this is what I feel like I'm supposed to be doing. This is what I'm comfortable doing. This is where I feel like life is leading me right now. So do me a favor. You got a drink? It's time for us to finish our drink. It's the end of our journey. Up to it. Down to it. Fuck those who don't do it. If you don't do it, you should do it. And if you knew better, you do better, shorty. Yeah. Come on, y'all. That's all I got for y'all tonight, man. Like, comment, subscribe, share, and I'll catch y'all next week. I'm out.